In the spring of 2023, a young man with a bright future disappeared from a quiet neighborhood in Austin, Texas. His name was Ethan Blake, 22 years old, a college student, a fast-rising social media creator with thousands of followers and even more ambition. 3 days later, hikers stumbled on something horrifying, a shallow grave hidden just off a trail in the Barton Creek Greenbelt. Inside was Ethan. At first, police treated it like any other homicide, but the deeper they dug, the more shocking it got. Because this wasn't the work of some stranger, or a scorned ex, or a random act of violence. This was someone close. Too close. The killer? His childhood best friend. And even worse, his mother knew and helped cover it up. Despite multiple witness statements, a confession, and a trail of red flags, nobody was ever arrested. No trial, no justice. This is the story of how friendship turned fatal, how a community was left stunned, and how a system that should have protected Ethan did absolutely nothing. Ethan Blake and Jordan Miller weren't just childhood friends. They were practically raised together, on the same block, in the same neighborhood, just 3 houses apart, in a quiet suburb of Austin, Texas, known as Sunridge Hollow. If you ask anyone from that area, they'll tell you Sunridge was the kind of place where parents still left their front doors unlocked, where kids rode bikes until the streetlights came on, where the biggest neighborhood drama was who won the weekend soccer game, and in the middle of it all, Ethan and Jordan. They met in 3rd grade. Ethan had just moved to the neighborhood with his mom and younger sister. Jordan was already a fixture on the block, the shy kid who loved video games and drew in the back of his math books. But something just clicked between them. At school, they were inseparable. Class partners. Recess buddies. Their teachers used to joke that they were attached at the hoodie strings. When one got in trouble, the other took the blame. When one had a birthday party, the other blew out the candles with him. It wasn't just friendship. It was brotherhood. By middle school, their bond had evolved into something even more creative. Ethan had an old GoPro camera, a birthday gift from his uncle, and the two of them started filming videos in their backyards. Silly skits, Nerf gun battles, lip-sync parodies. They'd stay up late editing clips on Ethan's mom's laptop, giggling over sound effects and rewatching their outtakes. They weren't trying to go viral. They just loved doing it. They even had a name for their channel, J&E Studios. As the years went on, Ethan started to shine. He had a natural charisma that came alive on camera. His comedic timing, his confidence, the way he could say something simple and make people laugh or think. Jordan preferred being behind the scenes. He was the quiet tech guy, editing videos, coming up with ideas, and holding the camera while Ethan performed. And that worked, for a while. But by the time they hit high school, things started to change. Ethan started getting noticed, not just in school, but online. He shifted his content from backyard skits to real storytelling. Short vlogs, mental health talks, motivational clips. He talked about growing up with anxiety, about losing his dad to cancer when he was 8, about trying to stay hopeful in a world that didn't always feel fair. And people responded. By the end of his junior year, Ethan had nearly 50,000 followers on TikTok. He got brand collaborations, free gear, DMS from agencies, and for the first time, he started thinking this might be more than just a hobby. Jordan was still there, still filming, still editing, still supportive, at least on the outside. But Ethan's friends started noticing small things. Jordan wasn't tagging Ethan in posts anymore. He stopped joining filming sessions, and he'd say things like, "Must be nice getting famous for just talking into a phone," or, "I guess real work doesn't matter anymore." At first, Ethan brushed it off. He thought Jordan was just going through a rough patch, that he'd come around. But by their senior year, the gap had widened. Ethan had a full scholarship to UT Austin. Jordan barely graduated. He didn't apply to college at all. They still talked, still called each other bro. But something in their dynamic had shifted. After high school, it only got worse. Ethan was thriving. His following exploded to over 180,000. He signed with a small agency, was invited to creator events, flew to LA for meetings. He started making money, not a lot, but enough to help his mom with rent. And Jordan? He was working at a cell phone repair booth in the mall, back living with his mom, posting nothing, saying even less. Ethan still tried. He'd invite him over, include him in ideas, offer to split sponsorship deals. But Jordan always had an excuse. Too tired, too busy, not feeling it. By 2022, it became clear. Ethan was rising. Jordan was stuck. And slowly, jealousy began to take root. It wasn't loud. It wasn't violent. It was the quiet kind. The kind that simmers just beneath the surface. And as Ethan prepared to take the next big step, a full move to Los Angeles to become a full-time content creator, Jordan, his oldest friend, the boy who once filmed his first video, was becoming his biggest threat. And he didn't even see it coming. If this story moved you, if it made you angry, if it made you ask questions, don't let that feeling fade. Ethan Blake's story isn't just about a young man taken too soon. It's about a system that failed to protect him, and a silence that nearly buried the truth. But you listened. You stayed till the end. And that means something. If you believe Ethan deserves justice, real justice, help keep his name alive. Drop a comment, hit subscribe, leave a like. Share this story. Because sometimes the internet is the only voice left when the world stops listening. This is more than content. This is a call for accountability. Thanks for watching. Stay curious. Stay compassionate. And until next time, keep asking the hard questions.